All right, we're going to do today is talk about ice dams. Ice dams are preventable. A lot of people want to think that ice dams are natural. They can be natural, but for the most part, most of the time, it's because you've got heat loss to the unconditioned attic space. And you can see how big these ice dams here are, and see the snow, how there's little melted snow spots. Now, ice dams can be very dangerous. I mean, think about this thing coming down on you or on a pet. So you don't want to have ice dams this large around the home. And not only that, they're going to pull down your gutters. Ice dams also will do structural damage to your gutter systems, to your gutter nailers, to your overhangs, your soffits. Here you can actually see where this ice dam has occurred many years before that. It happens all the time. We're going to talk about how to stop ice dams. We're going to talk about how to minimize ice dams, okay, in here in a couple seconds. And you can see here where the wood's been rotted and deteriorated, and this has been a chronic problem. Here's an ice dam that's going to fall down on somebody, okay, and it's ready about to fall. And you can see how large these things get. I mean, these can weigh hundreds of pounds, hundreds of pounds. Now, people put up those gutters and those gutter guards, and sometimes when water hits those, they form ice and become ice dams. So sometimes those gutter leaf guards and contraptions sometimes aren't the best. A lot of times they contribute to the whole problem. You know, sometimes you just got to clean your gutters. You know, clean them in the fall, clean them in the spring, you know, or pay somebody. Here you can see where, in this particular photo, you can see the ice here. Like, well, how does that form? Well, there's obviously some type of heat loss going on in this wall, and probably heat register, and maybe there's no insulation in the wall. This is what happens when you've got big ice dams. The gutters fall down, and I've seen ice dams crush air conditioning units. Here, you know, people want to buy a home, and you know, you want to look around the house because a lot of people will caulk and paint and kind of hide this from you. You're going to miss out. You're going to buy a house, and all of a sudden you get these huge ice dams and your gutters fall down. So you want to walk around the outside and look to see where people paint, look where people repair, okay? Gutters, no, I'm sorry, not gutters, but siding will stain. This means ice, when the ice dam forms, it leaks, and then leaks inside the wall. And then a lot of times you'll see water coming out of the house, out of the siding. Here you can see how the water's coming out. Oh, these are stains, okay? These are ice dams. A lot of these homes that have these types of gutters, they're just poorly designed gutters. They just can't handle anything. I mean, they're so small, and all those roofs go into that little gutter. It's inevitable what's going to happen here. Here you can see where here's a nice ice dam right here, and look at this, the snow's melting. So you got to go up in the attic and find out, why is it melting here? Is it a can light? Is it an access panel? Is it thermal bypass? I'm going to show you the stuff here in a second. Now this house, it's not rocket science that somebody forgot to do something with insulation. So this could be an open area in the attic, and this is not normal. You shouldn't have snow here and no snow here, because all the snow melted and end up in this gutter, and that's your ice dam. So you want to stop all the heat loss to the unconditioned attic space. Here you can see not missing insulation, but just driving by, you can see how there's heat loss here. And look at these big icicles. And by the way, big icicles, here you can see spots. Here you can see heat loss right up in here. This is kind of weird, right? And there's heat loss here, and there's heat loss up here. And luckily, the ice dams here weren't significant. Okay, now with the thermal imaging, when the ice melts, sometimes it'll drip in your walls. That's a thermal image of water inside a wall. And here's some more thermal images of water inside walls after the ice melts. Okay, now when you walk into houses and you see these kind of stains at the corners around the perimeter, high probability. Overflowing gutters, probably not. Ice dam, yeah. So these homes have had ice dams for a long time. Some people have ice dams that last for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and they just battle it and not ever figure out what's causing it. Now, here's your number one cause of ice dams. This is your attic access. And what happens is most homes aren't properly balanced to HVACs. We'll talk about that in a second. So pressurized air will leak air around this perimeter, and that melts the snow, and you get an ice dam. So you need to weather strip this attic access panel. Pull down, same thing. There is no weather stripping here. Okay, so they do sell boxes. They sell these zipper bags you could put on there, and really a lot of heat goes up in the attic. Now you should probably do not the one in the house, but also the one in the garage. So pull downs. Another I don't have here, but exhaust whole house fans. Okay, now missing insulation. Here you have a can light that's leaking. These are thermal image. And here you can see the missing insulation. That's called thermal bridging. You want to go in your attic, check all the insulation, and repair it, and especially repair the holes. Now that's an attic access panel. It just shows you how cold it is and heat loss, so you need to weather strip it. Okay. Now this is what causes negative pressure. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube on this, so just check it out. Please rate, subscribe. I also have another service. It's called Call Marko with a Question, Ask Marko with a Question. You can just Google it, and I do provide solving house problems and building science problems over the phone. I've been doing this for 33 years. I've done 18,000 homes, so I can help you out. If you can't find anybody to help you out locally, you can call me. There's a small fee. Just Google it. I'll leave a link down below. So here's a basement or crawl space, and you could actually see that it's not sealed. So if your cold air returns in your crawl space and basement aren't sealed, okay, or you have cold air return registers in smaller basements, you create negative pressure. And when you got negative pressure, you're going to have positive pressure upstairs. So you want to seal all your cold air returns in your basement. You want to and balance your HVAC to minimize the positive pressure in the upper floors. Here's an ice dam. Basically, you get the heat loss. You got your heat loss coming in here. You got your thermal bypass holes and attic accesses, and then it leaks and melts the snow, and you get this water puddle. And then when the water starts to leak underneath the shingles, and boom, it drips inside your walls and leaks inside the home. Okay. Now here's an attic. This is an attic, and here you could actually see ice in the attic. This is actually how you get attic mold, and I have lots of videos on this. I'll leave a couple links below. I've got a great video called Mold the Truth. You've been scammed. I also have an ice dam, the truth video. You should just Google it, or I'll leave a link below. Here is a problem number 2. Not only we get ice dams and heat loss, but we got a humidifier or moisture generator in the home, or a ventless heater. And this moist air is now leaking through the thermal bypass, which is your attic access, your pull down stairs, or your exhaust fan, or your can lights. And then it condensates on the north side where the snow's at, and boom, you get ice. Once that ice melts, guess what? Cladosporium, mold, black mold. These can lights, recessed lights, leak, especially if you got positive pressure because your cold air return isn't sealed in the basement. So you want to seal your cold air returns. You want to pressurize your basement. You want to repair all thermal bridging, all thermal bypass. And this way you're not going to have heat loss. You're not going to have to buy these things. Here, this is kind of funny. This guy had all kind of problems. He already replaced the roof and had put these heat cords up there. And you got all these heat cords hanging all over the place, and you're using power. What if you forget to turn it on? Okay. Excuse me. So heat cords is plan B. Sometimes you have to use them. Okay. But you don't want this. You do not want these huge icicles. And then another thing you don't want is hire your ice guy to come out with a hammer, and he starts chipping away the ice. He's going to ruin your roof. He's going to ruin your gutters. Mister, I got a hammer, and I'm going to chip. All right. So basically what we've covered here today is ice dams are not natural occurrences. B, ice dams occur through heat loss to the unconditioned attic space through thermal bridging, thermal bypass, basically holes like your attic access, your pull down, your exhaust whole house fan. Even, by the way, the bathroom exhaust fans, they better be going outside, not in your attic. Your dryer vents better be going outside, not in your attic. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to balance your home. And I'd say, after you do all that, you want to maybe even your chimney, fireplace, if you're not using it, put in a chimney balloon, so that's not becoming a makeup air vent. Another thing you want to do is keep interior doors open. That helps out significantly. Clean your gutters, obviously, right? And then maybe improve some insulation. I do have a more extensive ice dam video called Ice Dam the Truth. I'll provide that below, or you could just Google it. And please rate and subscribe. And I also provide Call Marko with a question. And we do provide phone service. Thank you very much. And please rate and subscribe.